This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about learning how to live well on your own terms. Welcome to the Unusual Yogi Podcast, a space for living, moving, and resting beyond the wellness norm. I'm Megan, and here we have honest conversations about chronic pain, movement, rest, and what it means to do life differently in a body that doesn't always follow the rules. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we have a very special guest in the shape of one of my best friends, Elle. Elle is here because, well, she's definitely dealt with a lot of the things that we talk about on this podcast, including having an autoimmune, maybe more than one. I don't know. We'll talk about it. And using movement in order to get back to her life.
My name is Elle. I'm 36 today. That becomes important later. Trust me.
It does. Wish her happy birthday in the comments below.
Oh, yeah, my birthday was just soon. I have an autoimmune disease. Several, actually. One plays off of the other, plays off of the other, plays off of the other, because that's how they work. They like to come in twos or threes. It's a gastrointestinal and functional motility disorder. Fancy speak for brain to gut dysfunction. Other fancy speak for brain and gut don't talk ever. They don't like each other. They're not friends and they don't speak the same language. So they don't operate on the same system.
Yeah. So how about you tell us how you learned that fun fact about yourself?
So I knew what I wanted to do, like right away. I took a bunch of those like high school tests where you like do your career matching and over again. And my top ones were always something to do with the trades or diving or both. So naturally, I wanted to become a commercial diver. So I had a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. All of these revolved around one single fact. I needed to be an underwater welder. Yeah, I'm obviously not doing that right now.
She's not an underwater welder.
No, not an underwater welder. So I was working and I'd be sitting on an I-beam, welding, not drinking Gatorade and vodka, while being lifted up on said I-beam into the air to be installed on top of a building, or to patch a hole in a sewage line, or change a filter at a paper factory, or whatever the heck it happened to be. Mm-hmm. And it turned out that was killing me faster. I just didn't know I was being killed at all. I woke up one morning and got out of bed, and then I don't remember anything. So when I did come to, I woke up and my alarm was going off, and my alarm goes off at like 4:30 in the morning because I work construction. It's an early job. It was 11:30 in the afternoon or morning. Is it still morning at 11:30?
Yes.
Okay, fair.
To the rest of us.
11:30 was the time. So I had somehow lost the hours between 4:30 and 11:30 to my floor. I obviously had to go to the bathroom. So I kind of woke up in a mess and trying to figure out what was going on, how much time I'd lost, and wasn't really understanding. This just kept getting worse. I started fainting more and more often with no warning. It could happen while I was driving. It could happen while I was walking. It could happen while I was at work. It would happen while I was going down the stairs. Like it would just happen randomly. So I went from being 160 pounds of crazy muscle to fainting all the time and not being able to get out of bed. It got so bad. I wasn't able to get food in. I wasn't able to eat. And anything I did eat would just come right back out, whether I was puking it or pooping it. It would just right through my system. Like it didn't even exist. And I went down to 90 pounds. I went down to almost nothing, counting ribs and looking a little bit like that guy from Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
I know the guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. And being attached to a bunch of tubes because I couldn't feed myself or get food in or absorb nutrients or anything. So they had me attached to all of these wires, tubes, things. And that was how that was. So then they start poking and prodding and testing and poking and prodding and testing. They kept using these words, the language. We're going to try. We're going to try this. And we're going to try this. And we're going to try to figure out that. And we're going to eliminate this. They never really figured out what it was. They could narrow it down to a category. So fast forward a little bit, because I'm such an anomaly on the system, they now need to send me to a specialist or several specialists So at McMaster Hospital in Hamilton, there is a clinic called GYMRAC, which is General Internal Medicine and Rapid Assessment Clinic. It is what it says it is. If you don't understand what that means and you've ever watched the TV show House, it is a team of doctors that are houses or Dr. House. So they put urgent on the top of all your files and kind of like rush things through, but they also do a bunch of different tests. And then they started transfusions. And then they do those ones where they attach a bunch of electrodes to your head and body and tell you to sleep. Tell me how that's happening, but okay. We ended up figuring out gastrointestinal functional motility disorder that also seems to have like a Sjogren's aspect to it, where there's like dryness of mouth and light sensitivity and issues chewing and swallowing and perpetual dehydration of all things. And then the gastrointestinals, that brain to gut. So hormones don't regulate properly. Nutrients don't absorb properly. My systems don't talk to each other properly. So we figure out that this is something that is chronic. It's like you're born with it. Like you don't really get a choice. It's not something you develop. It's something that you win in a lottery of sorts, the genetic jackpot. Have you guys ever heard of that? Where, it's just if partner A has it dormant and partner B has it dormant and you put two negatives together, it becomes a positive. Yeah, that math. Oh, we love that math. But that's where that started. And then what that led to was a complete career change because I'm hospitalized. I'm 90 pounds. I'm not really doing much with the welding department of things.
Yeah. I was going to say, I doubt that you could do the job that you had planned to do.
Did not. When I got sick, there would be like an episode and then I'd go a month without one. And then there'd be an episode and then I'd go a month without one. And then I'd get an episode in maybe like 3 weeks. And then it started getting more frequent and more frequent. So as it got more frequent, I realized that my industry wasn't working for me. So I went to a less demanding industry, or so I thought. Don't ask me how I thought construction and landscaping was less work than welding. Don't ask me, because I had logic back then and it seemed to be sound. As the episodes got more and more frequent, I needed something that could be a little more flexible. So working with AV tech, those jobs would be like 1 or 2 days or a week here, a week there. You could have some time. They're a little more freelance style. And you would pick up contracts here and there. And it's kind of more union, but I was working with a company where we had like regular stuff going on, but I could just not go out for a job for a bit. So I used that to accommodate my decline. Once I hit a certain point, I wasn't working anymore. And there was no going back to the trades after that.
Okay.
So I went from doing my welding and construction and trying to be an underwater welder to landscape construction as the decline increased, to AV as the decline increased, to once the decline was in, I wasn't working or doing anything.
How did you go from like being hooked up to all of these IVs and all these fun things and even like, I don't know, deciding that you're going to do landscape?
You ever hear of a concept called digging your heels in?
Yes.
Or stubbornness?
Yes, I met you.
Yeah. I lived there a long time, and would just push my body through things.
Live?
I do better now. But I lived in this angry place of don't tell me what I can't do. Watch me do it anyway.
I love that.
Yeah.
And where does that come from?
Anger.
Yeah.
Definitely anger. But mostly I wasn't willing to give up my freedom. Yeah. Like I wasn't willing to be done yet. Oh, sure. You have this disease and this is going to end your life by the time you're 27. Remember, I said I'm 36, right? So you can't have a life anymore. This is like, there's nothing we can do. This is just going to get worse. It's chronic and degenerative. Like there's nothing we can do. So I'm 22, 23 at this time now, by this time. And I'm pissed, rightfully so. And I'm watching my freedom go out the window. And by freedom, I mean, simple things, like getting out of bed by yourself, wiping your own butt for another, having a life for another, doing more than just sitting up in bed,
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a hard ask.
So once again, how did we go from that to even landscaping? Like, you have an even bigger story that we're going to unravel, but like, how did we go from
like
to
I
B?
said, was convinced and kept telling myself the story. I'm supposed to be in the trades.
Okay.
I am convinced that when we are born, there is definitely a calling that happens in our blood.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure mine was builder fixer. So I kept picking jobs that did that because it felt right. But none of them worked with me. I felt like I was fighting the system the whole way through, or my body would bail on me and not do what I needed it to do. And then I was back at square one again. So trial and error, sheer will of I refuse to give up, and a lot of anger on the watch me do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I forced myself. There was no other way. Like, I just forced myself to do it. Like, I wasn't ready to give up my life. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad. Maybe the way you did it, I have questions.
But there isn't really like a way you do it. It was just, I kept watching more of my freedoms, more of my strength, more of me disappear.
Yeah.
And like my body is withering away, and I can start to count ribs, and I can see my bones through my shirt. And I'm like,
yeah,
I gotta do something.
Yeah. Especially like that must be so scary to look at yourself in the mirror. Like one day you're this strong, very strong woman, and then the next day, basically, I know that it takes longer than that. Yeah. You're suddenly like a different version of yourself.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Awful. I spent a lot of time comparing myself to who I was and what I could do and when I could do that. And you remember when, and you remember when this was easy and when I could lift this and when I could do that. And I started reminiscing about at 23. I'm reminiscing about my life at 23. Yeah. So like, no, just so much no.
Yeah.
And there had to be another way. And there was some humbleness that came along the run, because as I had to keep, as I kept declining, I changed my career, and then I would decline, then change my career again. I got to a point where I ran out of trades and had to just sit with the fact that I'm probably not going to do what I thought I was going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And that I'm never going to get back to who I was.
Gotcha.
Like, dignity's gone at this point, friends. Like, I've had nurses lift my legs over my head and change my diaper for me. Yeah. Picture that. That's a fun thing.
At like 21.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. At 21.
21-year-old me would not like that.
Like the biggest amount of work that I would do at that point, not work, the biggest amount of activity or play that I'd have in a day is sitting up. Like, that would be like the highlight of my day as I sat up and I didn't faint. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Anyways, that didn't last either. I went to having no job for a really long time, actually, while I tried to figure things out. And that's where I started the fitness journey. So I started with a physio and a naturopath. And they kind of give you like a plan. But if you know physio ends. Like, it's just a few weeks. Okay. And I don't know about you guys, but if you break an ankle, like, do you really think you're fixed in just 2 months? Because I don't. When you're rebuilding your entire body, like 8 weeks is just not enough. Yeah. It's not enough. And then, so from the naturopath, we figured out food. And from the physio, I figured out some movements that lasted about 15 minutes a day. But then I went to an osteopath. We dove a little deeper. We got more into the source and the like, what was causing these things in my body and where it might be stemming from. All the pharmaceuticals I was on, a lot of chemicals, didn't react well with my body. These things that were supposedly helping me were actually also making me worse at the same time. So you would get one chemical to fix the thing, and then you would get another chemical to fix the chemical of the first thing. And then you would get a third chemical to fix the first second chemicals thing. Anyways, you just end up with a lot of pills, and they're not great. Yeah. And then again, because my body doesn't do well with the chemical things, it just I was in the hospital again. Like, let's just put it that way. Yeah, you just end up back in the hospital. And it's not a fun journey. So what do? You rebuild. You keep rebuilding. But you don't even know where to start. You've looked at the osteo. You've looked at this. Now you look at a gym, but you don't fit in at the gym either. So what do you do? What do you do? So I do what I do, which is write a new manual.
Yeah.
And change the system. I started taking Pilates classes at the recommendation of the osteo. And that really helped me build some foundations on core and stability and balance and regulation. Pilates is used in a lot of rehab for like hips, back, osteoporosis, like all kinds of different reasons. So it was a really good place for me to start. From there, it moved into hot yoga. From hot yoga, it moved back into fitness. From fitness, I started doing more balance and fall prevention style training. Not just training like my body, but training for my brain. Like I wanted to learn the mechanics of these things. Like I needed to understand the systems myself. So goodbye, welding torch. Hello, new textbook. That's what happened. And then I built the system for myself. I became my first project. I rehabbed with the assistance, yes, guidance, sure. But at a certain point, I just took the reins and was like, you guys do not know what you're doing. Like there's no middle ground. Like you have some people who are like too strong for physio, but not strong enough for the gym. And then there's this middle group of that. There's a lot of people in that little group. And like, we go. What do we do?
Yeah. No, I definitely, I think the audience can feel this way. I definitely feel that way a lot, where I'm somewhere in the middle a lot of the time, especially with endometriosis. So how about you tell us what you did to do the rehab?
Well, I didn't listen to the doctors.
Yeah, that sounds very you. Yeah.
They kept wanting to put me on more pharmaceuticals. I wanted to lay off of them. They wanted me to rest. I wanted to move. They told me I was going to die. I told them to go screw themselves. So again, before Pilates, before yoga, before fitness, before any of this, like my issue was getting out of bed. Like it wasn't about having the motivation to want to do fitness. No, it was getting out of bed and onto my mat. Like, how am I supposed to get there? If I can't get there, how am I supposed to do the work that needs to be done?
Yeah, fair.
So for me, it was a lot of breath work, myofascial release at the beginning to try to regulate my system as much as possible. Working with my feet on a regular basis, like ball rolling, balance tricks, toe things. What got me off of the pharmaceuticals, what got me onto the mat was cannabis. I started using CBD, CBG, and THC in a wellness aspect. It helped with my blood pressure because I had notoriously low blood pressure. This helped to regulate it. All of a sudden, I feel like I could sit up and not faint because my blood pressure is up a little bit. Cannabis also helps you eat,
which you needed.
Kind of important. Cannabis helps you sleep,
which you also need all the time.
Yeah. And then especially the CBD and the CBG, they help with focus and anxiety as well. I also have ADHD and the CBG is great for that. Just help make me more well-rounded. But in doing this, I noticed that a lot of my pains were also leaving as well, or at least being less pointy about their appearance. And then you move into, oh, well, I feel better today, so I'd like to try something. So I go for a walk or do another Pilates class or do another yoga class. So I went from going from once a week to twice a week to 3 times a week to all of a sudden I'm not 5 days a week. I can move now. That's why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to experience it. I want to have a life. I want to go bungee jump, kind of, but not really. But like, I want to be able to do these things. I want to go backpacking. I want to learn 12 ways to make fire with no tools. I want to learn if I got lost in the woods and lost my backpack, how would I survive and test my limits that way? I'd like to climb another 6,800 foot mountain. Yes, please.
And she really likes doing crazy things.
It's not crazy. It just, okay, maybe a little bit, but like, from going from where I was to where I am now, I am definitely not the same human. I spent a lot of time fighting to get back to who I was without realizing that that person didn't exist anymore. That ideal didn't exist anymore. And I had to do something else with it. I feel at this point that I've risen beyond a lot of that. That's when I was doing the naturopath things and trying to find a way forward. And I started taking these certifications just to get deeper knowledge because I wasn't getting enough from the physio. I wasn't getting enough from the personal trainer. The osteo kept guiding me down these routes, which were great, but like I wanted more. I wanted more information, more understanding. I'm a nerd, folks. I like to take something apart entirely and then put it back together, but better.
All the time. Literally. Okay.
So I did this with my own body and took it apart piece by piece and rebuilt it back one little brick at a time.
It's really awesome. Okay. So you did your own rehab.
With the assistance and guidance of an osteopath and suggested Pilates work, hot yoga, and other therapies, yes. But at a certain point, I stopped listening to everything everyone else was saying and started writing my own system because I was going to that doctor for this and this doctor for that, and then that doctor for these things and that doctor for those things. And I got tired of having 7 different appointments and just wanted one.
And you made that one appointment with yourself. Okay. So like, how?
I put down my welding torch and traded that in for understanding of the body and the body mechanics and how it works and how to balance it out in ways of sorts, how to regulate the system, how to build a foundation. For me, steel and the body weren't that much different. They were just different building materials, different mechanics, different ways of putting them together, different kinds of joints that attach those things together. No different than dovetails or rabbets in woodworking. You've got a synovial joint or you've got a rotating, like there's all kinds of different ways that things move. But okay, if you got into a car accident and hurt your shoulder and I got into the exact same kind of car accident and hurt my shoulder on exactly the same side, what fixes you and what fixes me may not be the same thing. Because structurally, our bodies are similar, but they're slightly different. So I became absolutely fascinated by this. And then it like turned into the coolest puzzle I've ever tried to figure out in my life. And I was my first project. So me being an anomaly on so many levels, this was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I could imagine. So you said that like you started to approach your body like steel. Walk me through that.
You have a foundation, your feet, those carry you through. That leads to the rest of your foundation, how all of this works together. If you have balance, then you have coordination. If you're picking something up, you're doing it from a stable base. If you're doing this on your tip, like they seemed the same to me. Building a building or dealing with the human body. Like they seemed very similar to me. So in my brain, all I did was trade filing cabinets, if you will.
Yeah.
And I looked at the body as a machine like I would with anything with welding. What sounds does it make? What sounds should it be making? What movements are you expecting it to do? What movements is it capable of doing? What movements do you use most often? Which movements are forgotten? Which program settings do you use the most often on your microwave? Which programs do you not? Like machines.
Gotcha.
The body is just a really complex, cool, self-healing machine.
Yeah, it's true.
Ever changing and totally crazy, but
and not the same for literally anyone.
No.
Okay. So what did you even study to do this?
Well, I went through personal training and functional fitness and just trying to understand like general fitness. What is this? How do we do? And like body structures, big movements, things like that. Found that wasn't enough. So I went more into like an injury rehab specialty because when you start getting certifications, you have to get continuing education credits. So your continuing education credits sort of become your specialties. I just ended up getting double the amount of continuing education credits I was supposed to get each year. Anyways, back on track. So injury rehab, balance and fall prevention, pelvic floor health. Yes, that does have a factor on both guys and girls, and the stability of like, if your pelvic floor is squeezing doesn't necessarily mean it's strong. Like it also needs to be able to relax. Anyways, I did
one
yin
first.
yoga training. I did some Pilates training, nothing formal in certifications. I did older adult fitness and trying to understand how the body ages and how things change when you age, because I wasn't really having that problem, but it was coming. And my body was acting like an 80-year-old, so says the doctor. So I started treating my body like the 80-year-old. When they tell you it's a decline, it doesn't have to remain only a decline.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
There are things that are degenerative. Like, I'm never going to get rid of my autoimmunes. They don't go anywhere, but I can manage them to a point where I can function in my daily life. Like, the body changes all the time. The body heals itself all the time. It slows down as you get older, but it doesn't stop.
Fair. Yeah. So would you say that like only older people get lost in the cracks of like the whole fitness wellness world?
No, it's people like me or people who had a sports injury from high school that's holding them back now, where they're too strong for physio, but not strong enough to be a gym bro.
Yeah.
Yes, those guys. There's a lot of them. They're the moms and the dads who maintain fitness but lost track of it while they had kids and then don't know where to start again, or kind of don't have a group or anything to go to. They don't know what to do at the gym, but they're not injured and they don't need to go to physio.
Yeah. What about people with like chronic pain? Yeah.
Chronic pain is a fun one. What I did was try to understand my pain.
Yeah.
And understand the communication from the body. Because at the beginning, what I was doing was pushing the pain away and developing my tolerance for pain, which is, I guess, a good thing and a bad thing all at once. Because like, oh, I broke my ankle, walked on it for 3 days, didn't even know it was broken, totally felt fine. Not a good thing for your ankle, by the way. I splintered that bone right out the side, popped it right out of my ankle. That's when I went to the doctors. But if you can learn to talk to your body or check in with it, you understand in fitness, there's good pains and bad pains. So there's the spiky, angry, stabby, someone poked a knife into me pain. Bad.
I deal with her.
Then there's an all over pain, like a pulling or a squeezing in a full muscle group. If you're using that knowledge and understanding, okay, what's the feedback that I'm getting? That's great. If you don't understand that feedback, your breath is another great tool. So I taught myself a lot with breath regulation. In yoga, you learn about this all the time. In Pilates, they teach you a type of breathing. I love Pilates and I don't love Pilates at the same time. I love Pilates because she taught me so much, but I don't love Pilates because sometimes she made me hold my breath. And for me particularly, that doesn't work for me. Generally speaking, if you hold your breath in an exercise, it's an indicator that you're working too hard. If your breath is tight or shallow or really fast, that's a really good indicator that you're doing too much or pushing too far in whatever that is, whether it's a stretch, an exercise, a heaviness, whatever it is. Too much. If you can maintain a full, deep, regulated belly breath, not chest breath, but a belly breath, then you're working within a tolerable range. If you can understand your breath and you can understand those signals, that's another way your body communicates with you. And teaching people how to regulate that way tends to calm the nervous system, calm everything. And you can work from a solid place. If I panic with the clients every time they're in pain, then they're going to panic further.
Yeah.
But if I can calm them down and teach them how to regulate, then we can change the narrative a little bit and we can work with that instead of against it, or instead of letting it hold us back, because that is something that like our brain does. Our brain will stop us from doing something that's going to cause us pain. Sheer willpower sometimes takes a play in there and likes to throw its little head in, decide that we're going to do it anyway, but there will be a clear sign. And that's like the benefits of having a trainer, is because they'll catch you trying to cheat yourself on these things and trying to push too hard. And I get it. We want to be who we were, but like, I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, I wanted to be the welder again. I wanted to be the commercial diver, but you know what? I kind of like me better now than I did then. Like, I feel like I've risen beyond my fall of dignity, fall from grace, whatever you want to call it. Like that fall off of life's adventures track, like the path that is life. I fell off of it for sure. And I actually like the path I'm on now way better.
Yeah.
And I feel more confident and calm in my own body. And I feel more sure of myself in this world than I ever have, even being a welder lifting 300 pounds while sitting on an I-beam in the air.
Yeah. But like you said at the beginning, it kind of like you were able to do that, but you weren't able to do a lot of the things that you can now because you really worked from scratch to become like a whole new person. You were able to really change not only like your body, but also your mind and your perspective through everything, right? So I love this. And I also know that now you also help other people.
Oh, yeah. So that is a thing. I might have forgotten to mention it, but I am currently a personal trainer, yoga therapist, and movement specialist. I created an app called Elementally Wild Wellness. Yes, play on the name, of course. But what it is movement intelligence for fallen warriors. Whether you are retired, whether you have an autoimmune, whether you have a different disease, whether you're an athlete who is injured, these are my fallen warriors. These are the people that I cater to. And we rebuild the foundation up. And I want you to rise beyond that fall, just like I did. Like, we're not trying to get back. We're trying to get better.
Yeah. You're going like beyond what you even were to begin with.
Yeah. And I don't want you to have to guess on how to do that or how to bridge physio and the gym. I just want you to be able to start right where you are.
Yeah. Which is so important. And one of the big reasons why I brought Elle here on the podcast today, not only because your story is just amazing and wild and yeah.
It's a thing.
I think that says enough. Like, I think that reaction is but also because you're actively helping people, especially people who have chronic pain, chronic illnesses, or just like, feel lost because they're in that in-between spaces.
Yeah, those people who feel forgotten by the doctors, or left behind by the doctors, or they feel othered by the gym bros. Those are my people. I love you people.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, and she's good.
And there really is a place for you, I promise, and it's not. It's not gym bro code.
It is not gym bro code. We do not stand gym bro code in this house.
There'll be none of that.
There will be none of that.
If I make you pick up a weight, I will make you do something with it. It's more about the performance. Like, what are you doing with this? What is your life like? Are you a hiker? Are you a biker? Are you a gardener? Are you a traveler? Like, what is it you want to be doing with your life? And I want to enable you to do that for as much and as long as possible.
Yeah.
Or even if your goal is to take all the groceries in one load, can help you with that.
Ideal. With that being said, I will have all of Elle's, her landing page, everything like that in the show notes for you to check out and play around with. And I think that's all for today.
That sounds great.
Amazing. Maybe we'll have you back on another time when we're less delirious.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. So, goodbye, everyone. Say bye to Elle. Say goodbye to Selena. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the Unusual Yogi podcast, the biggest help you could give is leaving a review, sharing this episode with a friend, or following me on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at the Unusual Yogi podcast. You can find Elle's links in the show notes down below, and I highly suggest checking out her app whether or not you suffer from chronic pain. And if you'd like to support the podcast in a tangible way, there is also a small support link in the show notes below. No pressure though, it just helps keep this space sustainable and reach more people who might need it. So until next time, take care of yourself in ways that actually support you.